Good morning from California. We are on the penultimate day of our trip. It's been a long run. We got 2 days here to get to the Pacific Ocean down in Santa Monica, and we're starting our day here in Needles, California. Let's go. Well, this looks like a true oasis in the desert. This is Amboy, California. Quite the sight here. Fountains, pools, koi. It's the only place around for miles around this stretch to get any fuel. And the fun thing is they know it too. Gas here is $5.99 a gallon, which is even expensive by Canadian standards. But one of the advantages of having the truck is that it has really good range. And we filled up back in Kingman, Arizona, and I probably have enough gas to get through to LA if I had to, so I don't have to pay $6 a gallon. So that's it. Just a quick stop here, and we're gonna get back on the road and see what else is out there. Well, welcome to the world of having to improvise on the go. We were supposed to stay on Route 66 south of our last stop there at the gas station. That road was marked as closed through to Essex, which, you know, these are some old alerts. We knew that this section of Route 66 had suffered flood damage about a year ago, so that wasn't surprising. We stayed on the interstate, came down as far as Essex Road, hoping we could hop down to old Route 66, see as much as we could between the washed out areas, and then pop back up to I-40, but we ran into this. This is going to throw a big wrench into a lot of our schedule today, because unlike most road trips, when a wrench gets thrown into your schedule on Route 66, it means you get places a lot faster than normal. If we have to stay on the interstate for most of this stretch, we're going to be in Barstow by 11 o'clock in the morning. So either way, you know, it's not a road trip unless you have to adjust on the fly, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll see where we end up now. Well, we are in Amboy, California. We had to take the detour along the interstate for a ways and then dive back down south onto old Route 66. But at least we're back where we want to be, and we are here at the famous Roy's in Amboy, California. Check out that sign. One of the most famous signs along all of Route 66. You're going to see it on t-shirts, coffee mugs, handbags, everything. This place is very well known. These are some of the tourist court cabins. They're not behind a fence. The doors are missing, never mind open. So I guess it's okay for us to stick our head inside and check it out. Wow. This is very cool. They're quite intact yet. Sink and shower.
Love that tile.
Not a big fan of the toilet, but tried to warn you. This one still has a old chair and desk and
Wow. Oh my. Reminds me a lot of Bagdad Cafe, the movie.
I don't think if you ring the night bell, you'll get much for service.
Dog in there. Someone must live in here.
Oh, yeah. Hey, little buddy. Well, that was kind of cool to see. Quite a bit of a hopping little oasis out here on the desert. It's been once we got off the interstate, we didn't see a whole lot of people, but Roy's is still a happening little gas station. Gas here is $1 cheaper than back at that other oasis in the desert. So, you know, if you can make it, get as far as Roy's to get your gas. Anyway, I'm going to see, we might have a few minutes. There's nobody really out where I'm parked here, so maybe see if I can throw the drone up and get a couple shots from the air. Roy's first opened in 1938 and was named for original owner Roy Crowell. In the 1940s, they added a motel to their tourist cabin and continued to expand their business during the heyday of Route 66 and erected the famous Roy's sign on February the 1st, 1959. It was in 1972 that I-40 bypassed the town of Amboy and significantly hurt Roy's business as the flow of traffic dried up. Buster Burris, who was Roy's son-in-law and business partner, eventually bulldozed most of the buildings in town, leaving only about 15 still standing. Next stop here is Newberry Springs, California, which is famous for being the filming location of Cafe. So it's pretty windy out here. You won't be able to hear very much other than the wind. But this was originally the Sidewinder Cafe. But after the success of the 1988 film, it was renamed to be the Bagdad Cafe, just as in the movie. And if you look down there, you can see the motel sign down there. This may look like an empty parking lot, and in reality it is, but it is so much more. Because, thanks to a recent video by Justin Scard and the Random Land YouTube channel, he pointed out that this is the original park entrance from the 1960s, and it's still here. And if you park in the lower parking lot, you can enter the park just as you would have 50 some years ago. So naturally, that's the way we've chosen to do it.
Two, please. 2 tickets to Calico. Allowed? Does anyone work in this place?
Now, we're not going in exactly as a lot of people would have back in the day. This here is actually a mine car / tram ride that would have taken people from this lower entrance up into Calico proper. As you can tell, it's a little bit derelict. It's been a few years since this one has seen any action, but we're lucky there is a staircase just off to our right that we're going to be able to use to access the town. Check this out. That is so cool that all of this is still here, even though it doesn't get used anymore. We're going to start up the staircase and go check it out. Excuse all the heavy breathing, you know, a couple weeks sitting in the car for many hours per day combined with a lot of really good restaurant meals means there's probably a few more pounds on me now than there were when this series started. So a super quick history of Calico. This is an actual silver mining boom town that dates back to the 1880s. Now, I say it's an actual town, but like many boom towns, it eventually turned into a ghost town and sat derelict and neglected for many years. In 1951, Walter Knott of Knott's Berry Farm fame actually purchased the town with the intent of making it into an attraction, something to do on the highway between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. And so he bought up the town, started to restore some of the buildings, recreated some of the others in their original location, and eventually turned it over to the county of San Bernardino to run as a bit of a theme park. So it's had quite the history over the last 140, 150 years. This photo here is showing what Calico looked like in 1951 when Walter Knott began his reconstruction restoration project. It's almost like Emily drew a crowd over at the penny pincher machine. She did actually draw a crowd. I think she's giving lessons on how to use them. Yeah, of course, we always make an extra effort to check out blacksmith shops for our friend Frank at home.
That's great.
Right, we've just been checking out the town, seeing some of the sights. We're up here at the old schoolhouse now. And the really cool part about this vantage point is from here, way down there, you can see our truck. And it's still sitting there in the parking lot all by itself, as if nobody else is here. But we know the secret of why that's the case. So we learned the schoolhouse is actually a replica from 1955 and is about a third smaller than the original. Couple interesting facts. Oops, sorry folks, didn't mean to interrupt. I got to admit, even though it's not crazy hot, that air conditioning feels good. And there's the man who made it all possible, Walter Knott of Knott's Berry Farm fame. And right down here, we got a time capsule that's only 13 years away from being reopened. Well, that's about it for Calico Ghost Town. Time for us to descend the old stone staircase to our private parking lot and get back on the road.
Listen on first. Wi-Fi.
Well, the sun is going down here in Barstow, California, and this marks our last official night on Route 66. If all goes according to plan, we reach the symbolic end of the Mother Road tomorrow at the Santa Monica Pier. It has been an amazing run over these last 15 days. Seen so much, so many things that I probably won't even remember until I get home and get a chance to review the video and go, oh right, I remember that, or oh, I had forgotten about that. Yeah, it's the final push. Not looking forward to all the traffic that we're going to be facing, but you know, it's going to be hard to say goodbye to the old friend that the road has been this whole time. That's it. It's kind of weird now being online in the groups and seeing people visiting things that we've already done now and commenting on them. I know we missed a lot of heavy rain down in Amarillo that came in just behind us, but yeah, that's it for me.
Well, here we are, Barstow, California, and it's Terminus Eve, we're thinking of it as. It's the last night on the road before we get to Santa Monica and the end of the Mother Road. It's been a heck of a ride over about 2 weeks, and we've met a lot of really interesting people that are super passionate about Route 66, both the business owners and fellow roadies, as everyone in the so-called club calls themselves. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some really interesting things. Just we cut a swath right through the middle of America, and it's been an unforgettable ride.